Once hailed as the next great superstar of world football, Mario Balotelli was destined for greatness. With natural talent, charisma, and physical dominance, he was the kind of player who could make fans leap to their feet in awe. But as bright as he burned, the flame didn't quite last. Balotelli's career was marked by flashes of brilliance, but it was undone by a series of self-inflicted wounds on and off the pitch. This is the story of Mario Balotelli and how he ruined his own career. Born in Palermo, Italy to Ghanaian immigrants, Mario Balotelli's early life was filled with challenges. He was given up for adoption at the age of 3 due to his family's financial struggles. He was raised by the Balotelli family in Brescia. Football became an escape for the young Mario, and by the age of 15, his talent was undeniable. His breakthrough came at Inter Milan, where his raw talent was impossible to ignore. At just 17, Balotelli was already dominating Serie A defenders, blending strength, pace, and technical ability like few players could. His future looked limitless. At Inter Milan, under the famous José Mourinho, Balotelli was part of a team that would go on to achieve legendary status. In the 09-10 season, Inter completed a historic treble, winning the Serie A, Coppa Italia, and the UEFA Champions League. But even as Inter lifted these trophies, Balotelli's behavior off the pitch began to raise eyebrows. Mourinho, known for his strict discipline, often clashed with the young striker. Stories of Balotelli's immaturity began to surface. His refusal to celebrate goals, his infamous act of throwing the Inter shirt to the ground after being booed by the fans, and his repeated disciplinary issues. But despite the trouble, Balotelli's talent kept him in the starting lineup. He had the world at his feet, yet trouble seemed to follow him at every turn. In 2010, Mario Balotelli made the move to Manchester City in order to reunite with former Inter boss Roberto Mancini. It was a fresh start in a new league, and City were building a team capable of challenging for the Premier League title. Balotelli's debut was electric, scoring goals, showcasing his unique style, and also thrilling fans with his unpredictability. But soon, his behavior off the pitch began to overshadow his performances. Balotelli became known for bizarre incidents, setting off fireworks in his own bathroom, throwing darts at youth team players, and racking up fines for poor discipline. He wore a shirt under his jersey that read, "Why always me?" after scoring in the Manchester derby, a celebration that became iconic, but also a symbol of his growing frustration with the media spotlight. In one moment, Balotelli could be world-class, scoring important goals in the FA Cup final, leading City to their first major trophy in 35 years. In the next, he could be a walking headline for the wrong reasons, such as for his infamous red card against Arsenal that nearly cost City the Premier League title. His inconsistency was infuriating. For every moment of brilliance, there were lapses in judgment that raised questions about his commitment. For a brief moment, Mario Balotelli silenced all his critics. Euro 2012 was a stage where Balotelli showed the world what he was capable of. Wearing the famous Italy jersey, he became a force of nature. His 2-goal performance in the semi-final against Germany, including an unstoppable strike from outside the box, was the stuff of legend. That night, with his muscles flexed and his eyes full of fire, Balotelli looked like he had finally arrived. Italy fell short in the final against Spain, but Balotelli left the tournament as one of its stars. It seemed like the beginning of a new chapter, where his on-pitch brilliance would finally outweigh his off-pitch troubles. But that moment of redemption was fleeting. After leaving Manchester City, Balotelli's career began to spiral. His return to Serie A with AC Milan started off promisingly, with Balotelli scoring 12 goals and 13 appearances in the first half of the season. But his old habits returned, arguing with referees, his teammates, and also his coaches. In 2014, Liverpool took a gamble and they brought Balotelli in, hoping to reignite his career in the Premier League. But his time at Anfield was disastrous. Balotelli scored just 4 goals in 28 appearances and seemed more disinterested than ever. Fans began to lose patience. His inconsistency, his lack of work rate, and his attitude problems alienated him from the squad. Brendan Rodgers was the Liverpool coach at the time, and he said that Liverpool needed a dependable striker, but Balotelli's antics were becoming more of a distraction than a solution. In one match, he even swapped shirts with the opponent at halftime, a move that enraged both fans and the coaching staff at Liverpool. While Balotelli's club career was in freefall, his place in the Italian national team also became precarious. After Euro 2012, his performances for Italy became erratic. He was left out of Italy's 2014 World Cup squad entirely, a decision that reflected his growing isolation from the footballing elite. His failure to mature as a player and a person became evident in his national team absences. Italy's managers grew tired of Balotelli's unreliability, and a once promising international career fizzled out, with fans left wondering what could have been. In the latter stages of his career, Balotelli found moves in France, playing for Nice and Marseille. For brief moments, it seemed like he might find redemption. At Nice, he started everything off perfectly, scoring 33 goals in 61 appearances over 2 seasons. But even at Nice, the issues persisted. Arguments with teammates, coaches, and missed training sessions marked his time there. A stint at Marseille followed, but by then, it was clear that Balotelli was a shadow of the player that he once was. After his time in France, many believed that Mario Balotelli's career in top-flight football was all but over. His stints at Nice and Marseille had shown flashes of the old Super Mario, but his inconsistency and off-the-field antics still followed him. However, in 2021, Balotelli made a surprising move, signing with Turkish side Adana Demirspor. For some, this move seemed like a step down, a far cry from the glitz and glamour of the Premier League, Serie A, and also La Liga. Adana Demirspor was a newly promoted club in the Turkish Super League, but for Balotelli, this was an opportunity for redemption, a fresh start in a league where the pressure wasn't as intense and the media spotlight not as glaring. Balotelli found his scoring boots once again. He managed to score 18 goals in 33 appearances during his first season, making him one of the best strikers in the league. Turkish fans embraced his ability, and the move was hailed as a potential revival for the troubled star. His form in Turkey led to calls so that he could return to the Italy national team, with many fans hoping to see him don the Azzurri shirt once again. Despite his resurgence in Turkey, Balotelli's bad boy attitude never truly left him. Stories of late-night parties, clashes with teammates, and arguments with his coach began to surface once again. Even in the league, with less media scrutiny, Balotelli managed to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. He was seen getting into heated exchanges with his own coach on the sidelines during matches. His discipline on the field was still questionable, with multiple bookings for dissent and reckless challenges. His relationship with Adana Demirspor's management became strained as his antics began to overshadow his performances on the pitch. In one infamous incident, Balotelli was substituted during a match, only to furiously storm down the tunnel, yelling at his coach, and these were the kinds of moments that haunted Balotelli's career, especially in the times when his immense talent was eclipsed by his inability to control his emotions. So, what exactly went wrong for Mario Balotelli? The talent was always there. Few could doubt that. His ability to change games, score incredible goals, and bring an undeniable spark to the pitch was unique. But football is about more than just talent. Balotelli's career was defined by a lack of focus, poor discipline, and an inability to handle the pressure that came with all of his gifts. His attitude alienated him from coaches and teammates. His inconsistency made him unreliable, and his off-field behavior often made more headlines than his performances on the pitch. Balotelli's career is a cautionary tale, one that reminds us that in football, talent alone is not enough. Discipline, focus, and attitude are just as important. Balotelli, for all his gifts, lacked those key qualities. As fans, we will always remember the "why always me" celebration, the wonder goals, the moments of magic, and also the moments that made us laugh on the pitch. But we will also remember the fights, the red cards, the controversies, the missed opportunities, and perhaps that is the tragedy of Mario Balotelli. He could have been one of the best, but in the end, he was his own worst enemy. In the end, Mario Balotelli remains one of football's great what-if stories. A player who had the world at his feet, but for one reason or another, never quite lived up to the immense expectations that was placed upon him. He will always be remembered for the moments of brilliance, the goals, the celebrations, the audacity in the way that he played. But he will also be remembered for the countless times that he let himself down. Super Mario Balotelli didn't just burn bridges, he burned his own chances at greatness.